Good evening, Eric here. On this episode of Decisive Moments, we're going to be exploring night. I know you can see right behind me that it's starting to get to that night, but believe me, we're just a little bit away and we're going to go and enjoy the city with it. 50mm and a Canon. See you. The thing about night photography, and I don't do it all the time or often, but I usually, it ends up being a lot of the night photography that I do ends up being super early in the morning before anybody's gotten up, but it's still night. But when I do go out for, specifically like this evening, going for night photography, I'm looking for interesting light and silhouettes. Silhouettes will be the thing that really catches my eye. A whole different world when it comes to night photography, and I shoot mine predominantly in color, so it's a little bit different, and I'm not using a tripod, so I really have to rely on the light available. I generally shoot as low ISO as I can, with being handheld, keeping that in mind and not getting shaky about it. And I also don't mind grain. If there's grain in it and it becomes a little bit like, you know, it's okay for me. I appreciate the grain. Matter of fact, when you go back and look at some of the masters of photography and look at their black and white, especially their night work, it's just full of grain, but that was the film that they were using. I don't and have not explored the nighttime as much as I probably could. And usually it's because I'm getting up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, so my early hours are happening at that rather than late night hours. So there's a whole different world to explore out here, and light after darkness is very interesting. You know, it's like the nightlife is interesting. I spent a large portion of my working career back in the States working at night, so I'm accustomed to this kind of light, and I somewhat miss it. But I feel like I'm making up for long periods of working nights by exploring the daytime and that sunrise and stuff. So that's kind of where my head is at all the time. We would love to hear your ideas and what you'd like to see from me talking about in Decisive Moments. We've covered quite a few topics, but we're going to be doing some more, so let's hear what you have to say. You can follow along on Erik Witsoe Photography, on Shuttout, on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, providing us with the gear. Tonight we're working with a Sigma 50mm f1.4 and a Canon 6D. And this is what we use to film this whole entire process, aside from the Canon, the EOS 7D that we are using to film. Thank you very much for that, and see you soon.